I'm going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Come on. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shitty, shitty, go up. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff. That's it to me now. I'm going down, down, baby. Yo, street in the rain. Boom, boom, baby. Ready to let it go. Shitty, shitty, go up. Listen to it loud. Light it up and take a puff.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to 2015 WWE SummerSlam preview. A week away from SummerSlam, this video is being filmed before Raw, before the SmackDown taping. There's currently 8 matches announced. There always could be, subject to change. Matches change, add matches. Maybe one of these might be a pre-show match. They take it off the card. A lot to be determined still. I want to go ahead and get this up and get my thoughts out there. First match on the card. We have Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. This is a feud between these two gentlemen. Have gone back a long time, off and on. Obviously been feuding in WWE here recently with John Cena a little bit for the U.S. title. Cesaro getting a big push finally. I've always thought very highly of Cesaro, very highly of Kevin Owens, two of my favorite guys in WWE. This feud of these two goes back to the Indies. They both were there, 10 plus years. The PWGs, the ROHs, the CZWs, that kind of thing. On the indie circuit, Cesaro won the series or whatever. He won 3 out of 5 matches versus Kevin Owens. Cesaro was 1-0 in a tag match on the indie circuit. In WWE, Cesaro has beaten Owens 4 out of 5 times, and Owens has won the one and only tag match they've had. I look at Kevin Owens getting the victory here. Seems like this big push that Cesaro's gotten here lately with the shakeup in the WWE executives, that somebody's really high on Cesaro. Thank God, because he's very talented. One of the top performers in WWE. So I see, hopefully these two feuding, above and beyond just for nothing. Maybe a world title someday, U.S. title, IC title type of thing, and maybe, like I said, a world title. Both of these guys I could see with the world title. So I got Kevin Owens winning that. Next we have the Fatal 4-Way for the tag titles. We have champion Primetime Players versus Los Matadores versus Lucha Dragons versus The New Day. Tag division WWE, until the Usos get back, this is pretty much what you got. The Ascension just kind of fall to the face of the earth, it seems like. I know the Wyatts are starting to get back together. There's a possibility of Rowan returning, 7-8 months when he returns, redoing the Wyatt family. You got some other people kind of thrown together as tag teams. Here you get the Fatal 4-Way for the titles. I don't see Los Matadores winning this. They're more of a filler. Lucha Dragons, I like to see them as tag champions, but for whatever reason they're not getting a big push for that right now. So that kind of leaves the New Day and the Primetime Players. I don't mind the title being on Players. I don't really like them that much myself, but a lot of people do. They're over with the fans. New Day is just this wannabe-faced, heel kind of tweener type freaking faction shit. Don't like Big E at all. Obviously Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods kind of run that for me at least. But I see New Day getting the tag titles back here. I see kind of being a cluster, and I see Primetime not getting pinned, maybe pinning Los Matadores or Lucha Dragons, and that way it kind of carries on to Night of Champions with the New Day and Primetime. Rematch for the titles, Primetime not getting pinned, so how do they lose their titles type of deal. Next we have a 3-way Divas Elimination team match. We have Team Bella, Nikki, Brie Bella, Alicia Fox versus Team Bad, Naomi, Shasta Banks, and Tamara versus the Submission Sorority, or what they're called now, the PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. I like the Submission Sorority better. They all three have killer submission moves. Just another kind of a glory thing. I've thrown all 3 of these teams in there. I know they kind of want to keep seems like they want to keep the Divas title on Nikki Bella until at least Night of Champions, which is about a little over a month away. Once that happens, and once Nikki reaches the Night of Champions, she'll be the longest reigning Divas champion ever, surpassing AJ Lee. It's kind of like WWE wants that, everything with AJ Lee and Punk kind of eliminated and kind of not even worrying about it anymore, trying to get away from that stuff, which kind of makes the world title run for Seth Rollins quite interesting. So I got the submission sorority PCB winning this, obviously by submission probably. A little side note that I didn't know until I was doing some research. Charlotte is married to Bram of TNA. Yeah, totally random there, a note there. I kind of came across, looking up matches and thought that was a quite interesting note. So Bram is the son-in-law of the Nature Boy. So I see the Nature Girl, woo, getting the pin here. Charlotte getting the submission in her figure 8. She'll probably get the submission over Nikki, I imagine. And that will lead up to Night of Champions, hopefully. I settle for any of these. Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, any of these versus Nikki. But I can see Charlotte being the first one to, end the title run of Nikki Bella. So I got submission sorority winning this. Next, we had the Triple Threat IC title match, which was originally booked for Battleground, but due to the knee staph infection by Ryback, we have it here. We have champion Ryback versus The Miz versus The Big Show. Can we just end this already? Come on. I mean, let's put the IC title on a Randy Orton or somebody like that, or Bray Wyatt, and let all three of these guys just go away. I don't want to see this. This will be the match, and as long as it's in the middle of the card, this will be the match that I'll be eating some, hopefully, quality B-Daddy and or J-Man cooking. J-Man says he's supposed to be fixing tacos for us, hopefully, so we'll see what happens. But this will probably be the match where I go upstairs from the basement and get some grub. I got Ryback retaining. There's no reason for Big Show to win this. There's really no reason for Miz to win this. Whatever the shit is that Miz is wearing, this kind of little cut-off hoodie looking, gay-looking crap. Whatever, Ryback wins. Next, another one of those kind of big match. We have Stephen Amell and Neville versus King Barrett and Stardust. Obviously, these actors who come in and want to be wrestlers, kind of this whole thing he's got going on with Stardust, and Stardust calling him out, and it's like, oh my god, I just hate when actors come in and do stuff like this. It's different when it's a guy who's a wrestler who goes off to be an actor and comes back. John Cena makes movies, The Miz makes movies, The Rock. The Rock was a very talented wrestler before he went off to do movies and television. Unlike Stephen Amell, who's just an actor who's like, hey, let's see if I can get in the wrestling ring. Whatever thing started with Stardust, and now here we are. He's teaming with Neville. He got hurt training, supposedly, so I don't know. It's kind of a way to carry on Barrett and Neville, kind of bury him in this match with Stardust and Stephen Amell. So I look at Team of Neville and Stephen Amell getting the victory here. This will mark the 20th match that Neville and Barrett have been involved in, a couple tags and a lot of singles match, since the King of the Ring in April, since King Barrett happened. So obviously Barrett and Neville are doing a lot of stuff together. It's kind of another way to kind of get them together. I kind of want to see that feud end. I mean, Neville's done some other things, Barrett's done some other things, but it's like, this is the 20th time these guys have been in the ring together since April in 4 months. It's like, it's just, let it go, guys. I don't know who you're trying to put over here, but let it go. Have the actor leave. Have Stardust turn back into Cody Rhodes and go for the IC title. Do something different here. Look at Neville and Stephen Amell winning that. Next, we have Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns teaming up versus the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper. I know there were some rumors that Sting might be involved in this and adding somebody to the Wyatt family, which they would add Bo Dallas, Bray's brother, who's the last person Sting was on Raw. Scorpion Death Drop to Bo Dallas, so it would have made sense if they would add both to this. Obviously, they didn't. I could see, the Wyatt family adding somebody at SummerSlam to maybe have an appearance by Sting. Don't know. I'm kind of mixed emotions. If I see Sting, great. If I don't, I don't. He's at that point in his career that he doesn't need to be out there a lot just to go in the Hall of Fame eventually. Kind of sporadic appearances. I still want to see Sting Taker. Something I came up with is since Taker debuted at Survivor Series, Sting WWE debuted at Survivor Series. Why not do Sting Taker Survivor Series? Have them both go in the Hall of Fame in April. Don't have them wrestle at WrestleMania. Just have them go in the Hall of Fame and be done. I mean, why not have a Taker beginning in his career at Survivor Series? Sting beginning in his WWE career at Survivor Series. Makes sense to me, but we'll see. I see Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, two big faces getting the wins here. I could also see, kind of like I said, adding Bo Dallas or somebody else to the Wyatt family, or maybe Eric Rowan comes back early or something, and then somehow sneaking a win out. And make sure, if you haven't looked it up yet, go on Deadspin and look up Big Roman Reigns fan, and you will see J-Man of the Pro Wrestling Pulse. And you actually, when you see him, you'll see my head kind of right behind it, because I was trying to get a picture of Roman Reigns for J-Man's grandmother, who's a big Roman Reigns fan. And, if you haven't seen this yet, I know check out Pro Wrestling Pulse. You've kind of seen it in their videos, but yeah, you got to check this out. This is just the epic J-Man moment, so. Anyway, next we have the title versus title. We have the WWE World title versus the United States title. We have Seth Rollins, World Champion, versus U.S. Champion John Cena. John Cena should be out on Raw this week to accept Rollins' challenge after breaking his nose on Raw a few weeks ago. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed emotions about this match. Yeah, these two guys with Brock Lesnar had a just absolutely great match at Royal Rumble. But I don't know where they're going with this, what they want to do. I could see a lot of weird things happening in this match, especially it being sub-main. I could see possibility of a DQ type finish where no title changes hands. I could see, unfortunately, the Golden Boy John Cena being World Champion and U.S. Champion, which I don't want to see. I like what he's doing with the U.S. title and the open challenges. I could see Seth Rollins being World Champion and U.S. Champion, then resolving the U.S. Champion, which has been talked about. Having Seth Rollins with two titles, I don't see anything wrong with that. And then if you had a Sheamus cash in for the world title, Seth still got the U.S. title, so you keep the feud going between John Cena and Seth Rollins for the U.S. title, which make a lot more prestige for it. There's a lot of different ways they can go. I'm leaning toward that. If you notice, no Sheamus on this card. Why wouldn't you have your Money in the Bank holder on one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year? Exactly. No Randy Orton on this card. Maybe Randy gets involved in DQs that or something, because Randy's feuded with both of these guys. To me, the most likely scenario is one of two. It's either Seth Rollins winning and holding both titles, or having Sheamus cash in, because he tried to cash in on Raw and didn't get RKO'd for his trouble. So I could see a Seth Rollins getting cashed in on by Sheamus. Maybe Seth Rollins winning the match, having the U.S. title, world title, Sheamus cash in, Randy comes out, setting up something with, Randy, Sheamus, and Seth for the world title, and then Seth having the U.S. title also. So that would be, either that or DQ or something stupid happening. Main event, we have Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker, 17 months in the making. The man who took the streak. I was there live. WrestleMania 30. The darkest moment in wrestling for me. Watching The Undertaker streak go away. Being there at WrestleMania 25 with J-Man and watching one of the greatest matches of all time, and Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. And where you thought, oh my God, Shawn could take the streak. And you're just like, wow, after the match, how amazing that match was. And going to WrestleMania 30, not even having an inkling thought of the streak ain't ending here. It's Brock Lesnar, what the hell? And then the streak ends. You see the 21-1. The entire crowd's like, it just happened. Like you're stunned. Obviously you find out later that, Undertaker, which we knew Undertaker was a big Brock Lesnar fan, a big UFC fan. And just understanding what Undertaker, if it wasn't for pro wrestling, he'd be in UFC. So it's like, alright, I get you're that big UFC guy, so that makes sense you letting Lesnar take the streak and end the streak. Okay. Taker goes away. Yeah, you don't hear from him for a year. Bray Wyatt comes out in January and starts calling out Undertaker. Bray Wyatt builds a, series with Taker, builds up this match, the whole build of the WrestleMania match by himself for Taker. It's like the new face of fear just went after the Undertaker and just brought him back from the grave and just pumped him up enough to get back in the ring. You're the dead man. I'm the new face of fear. Let's do this. Was able to resurrect the Undertaker, come out, put on a really good match, I thought, at WrestleMania, and it made the Undertaker realize, I'm not done. Just because the streak is dead, I'm not dead. I'm the Undertaker. And here he comes out at Battleground. Amazing seeing the return of Undertaker live. Wow. When you hear that gong, you know what it is. It's like, oh my God, Taker's here. Having Taker come out and beat down Lesnar, the feud on Raw, they're both supposed to be on Raw this week. And just the first time since 2010 that the Undertaker's wrestling on a non-WrestleMania pay-per-view. This is the first time since Bragging Rights 2010 and Hell in a Cell 2010 the Undertaker's appeared on 2 pay-per-views in a row. He's had 8 matches in 5 years. 5 WrestleMania matches, 1 Raw, 1 SmackDown, and 1 house show. I'm actually thinking that this match will be intriguing on how it comes off. Is it going to come off like Lesnar's a badass, just superplex city guy, or is it going to come off like Lesnar's a scared pussycat and Taker just takes him out? So, a lot can happen here. I think Taker will get the win. So, that will wrap up the 2015 WWE SummerSlam preview. Check out Robert Sports Show for the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn preview. And stay tuned for after the NXT show on Saturday night for a review. And then after the SummerSlam show for a review of that. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show and have a spiffy night. Robert Sports Show, the YouTube leader in sports channels.